Hello summoners, and welcome to the Mobalytics patch 8.6 video tier list. The Mobalytics tier lists are designed to help you climb in solo queue and are not necessarily dependent on who the best of the best champions are. We do look at pro play and we look at win rates, but it's not always designed to tell you exactly who are the best of the best, but who are the best for climbing and helping you improve. Our tier lists come out before or during the beginning of the patch cycle and are predictive. Remember, in solo queue, most champions are in fact viable to climb with. This is because this is a hectic environment with a lot of unorganized play. Anyway, let's get started. For the top lane, there's one thing that's huge for this patch, and that is the release of the new precision rune, Conqueror. The functionality works kind of similar to the way Grasp of the Undying works. After being in combat for 4 seconds, you're going to get some additional stats and convert 20% of your damage to true damage. This is finally the Bruiser Keystone that Bruisers have been waiting for all along. Champions like Fiora, who already have a very high play rate with the Kleptomancy build, might be even better. Expect top lane to be quite a bit different than it looks right now within a couple of weeks. People are going to figure out what champions truly are busted with Conqueror and whip out some new builds. The jungle role has shifted around a little bit ever since we saw the nerfs to tank junglers and specific direct nerfs to Sejuani and Jarvan. Most tank junglers that you do see in professional play are pretty good for solo queue too. Things like Sejuani and Jarvan and Zac are still B tier. But due to the high amount of success for Shaco, Warwick, and Nunu across a lot of different rankings, we place them in S. We may see a rise in champions like Kindred, Rek'Sai, Xin Zhao, or Master Yi now that Conqueror has been released, but potentially this is more of a lane Keystone. Warwick is a champion that doesn't see too much professional play in the North American region, but in other regions he has popped up a little bit. Warwick continues to be a very successful champion across a range of many different elos and skill levels. He is very easy to use and pick up, and his kit is extremely effective at counter jungling, ganking, team fighting. He can pretty much do it all for solo queue. On to the middle lane now, where we see a few assassins such as Zed, Ahri, or Fizz, but we also see mages like Orianna, Syndra, Anivia, and Zillion because of Archangel's staff. Although it saw some direct nerfs on this patch, this item is just way too good. It gives you infinite mana, 20% cooldown reduction, and a really big shield that allows you to be defensive. You don't even have to prioritize barrier as much as you used to against assassins. Across every elo and every region, Swain is incredibly overtuned and overpowered, and the champion can be both a great mid laner and great top laner. For AD carries in the bottom lane, we see our poster child move into S this week, which is Kai'Sa. On 8.5, we felt that Kai'Sa was already pretty underrated. We saw professional players picking her up, itemizing properly, and starting to learn how to play her. However, she continued to receive buffs. This time around, we see that Kai'Sa was buffed in basically every single part of her kit, and she was already pretty strong, if a little bit underrated. Expect to see Kai'Sa in professional play, drawing a lot of bans, and being one of the best champions on this patch. It turns out that the buffs for Jhin were unexpectedly a lot better than what people thought. His win rate and play rate have creeped up quite a bit, and the buff that you can now do Q and W to root seems to be pretty impactful. He got some of his numbers buffed as well, and the champion is a pretty good A tier AD carry now. Ginsu's Rageblade was also changed on this patch, which is why we have Varus and Kog'Maw moved down. The item has been shifted and got some of its numbers tuned around a bit. It's now much more of a scaling item and is not something that you want to rush immediately. The item overall might be a little bit better, especially because, like we said, it does scale. The issue is that Varus and Kog'Maw were able to abuse this item and be god tier 80 carries for a couple patches because they built this first item and got a huge power spike immediately after completing it. No other 80 carry really could match up with their damage at one item. Whether you went Infinity Edge, Static Shiv, you couldn't compete with their damage output at one item. Lastly, for support S tier, we have Rakan and his 3 E-girls. There's a new item for supports, and by new, I mean they re-put it into the game because it used to actually be in the game. Shirelia's Reverie is an item that is built for enchanters and will be a specific option when you don't want to go Censor or Redemption. It's going to give you some unique build paths. Rakan also received some direct buffs to his AP ratios on this patch in return for losing some power while he's paired with Xayah. This means that Rakan might just become the best support in the game all on his own, and even if we see Xayah bans, Rakan is still going to be incredibly powerful. For the rest of support A and B tier, this is probably one of the most mixed and diverse champion pools in a long time. What I like about support right now is if you ban a few enchanters, there are a lot of options that somebody could play. Thresh, Braum, Alistar are just as good as Sona, Lulu, Taric, Morgana. We see a lot of these champions be pretty diverse and usable in a bunch of different situations. If you're a support main, now is a great time to play because you have a lot of diverse options. This has been the Mobalytics patch 8.6 video tier list. Try out the new Conqueror rune for bruisers, abuse Kai'Sa, and make sure you build a tier. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check out the product at mobalytics.gg and follow us on all our socials: Discord, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.